All right, in this week's show, we're going to be talking about why stress is the biggest killer of most businesses.
We're also going to be talking about how you can actually have fun, enjoy life. Like business is supposed to add to your life, not take away from it.
And we're going to give you some good, helpful tips to actually help you enjoy life. You know, you're supposed to be enjoying life. Business shouldn't be about the hustle. It should be about, adding value to your life. Yeah. So welcome to this week's show. My name's Alasdair Cunningham.
My name's Tom Cook.
And today we're going to be talking about having fun. So, my name's Alasdair Cunningham. Welcome to today's show. Today, I want to be talking about, why you should be making time for fun and you should stop glorifying and putting the hustle and the grind on a pedestal above everything else. I'm not saying business is not important. I'm not saying there's not going to be sacrifice. I'm just saying we have to allow time to chill out and do what you want to do.
Yeah, my name's Tom Cook and I am the COO of this business.
COO? Sounds like a song. You're cool.
I'm the cool.
Right, okay, so Tom, come on. What was life like when you first started your business?
I thought you had to work hard every single day, hustle and grind, have no fun because you got to make it in business. You got to work really hard. I was part of the 5 a.m. club. And to be honest, I was tired and miserable every single day and exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah. Same, mate. Same. I've been in business now. I'm 42. I've been in business since I was like 22, 23 years old. So nearly 20 years. And like I go back to the early days and man, I used to work some hours. I was grinding away and hustling away constantly. And you're constantly going from one job to another job because you've got to keep going, right? And actually, there's been many times during my let's say, business career where it would have been far easier for me to go and get a job and I would have probably made more money, right? Because actually, sometimes the hustle is not effective. Right? Because, we spend so long working and so many hours doing what we think is productive or effective in the business, but actually it's not. And actually sometimes the people that are really successful in business are the people that have a good balance. And you've created a really good balance in your business now. We'll get to that in a minute. But in the early days, I know you weren't. I know you are grind, hustle, 5 a.m. club, working till 10, 11 o'clock at night. For what?
Yeah. I was doing the whole 5 a.m. club. And then that's when Elena, my partner, said to me, she was like, why do you get up at 5 a.m.? And I genuinely didn't have an answer. I was like...
because a book told you to. You read a book that said, hey, the miracle morning, let's get up at 5 a.m. and be tired all day.
Yeah. And I didn't have an answer. And then that's where I started to question. I was like, why do I get up at 5 a.m.? And the reason I actually got up at 5 a.m., I got to the bottom of it, was because when I was working, I used to go to the gym in the morning before work. And then when I stopped my job and I went into business, I forgot that I could choose my own hours.
Yeah.
And I could work on my terms.
Come back to, let's go back to why you got in business. Why did you want to start that side hustle? Why did you want to start the business? Why did you want to take all that risk, jeopardize your normal routine? Why? What was the purpose of you doing that? For me, it was to create freedom, to create time choice, and to create monetary choice. Okay, that's the three things I was always after. Yeah. So why then do we spend 18 hours a day grinding? Why do we spend 18 hours a day thinking that we're being effective when actually we're not? Now, I get it. You've got to do that in the early days. I do get it, right? But there comes a point where you have to start thinking about, okay, instead of constantly putting everything else first, you've got to put you first, right? And we hear it every day. It gets banded around everywhere. Entrepreneurs go, hey, I'm facing burnout. And I had a call with a billionaire about a month and a half ago, right? And he said, in order for him to get to $1 billion, he faced 3 burnouts. One of them put him in bed for 3 months. And he said, look, Alasdair, whatever you do, don't do that. Don't get to that point because you can do it without getting to burnout. And we, as a human being and as a human race, in this, particularly in the United Kingdom, especially entrepreneurs, it's bred into us to hustle. Actually, I think we need to start working smarter.
Yeah, and that online, you see on social media, there's that burnout is like a badge of honor.
Yeah, that's it. It's a badge.
Yeah, I've been burnt out and I'm working nights and I'm doing all these hours. But then actually that same person who's online telling you that is tucked up into bed at 11 a.m. in the morning having a little nap. They leave those details off about the times that they're chilling out. So don't believe that everything you see online.
So what do you like to do? Like, obviously, a little bit, you guys know a little bit about me, you know a little bit about Tom, but, you know, in my early days, I was very much that guy, working. I got to a point where, you know, I'm not going to go into detail, but I got to a point where relationships weren't going the way I wanted them to go. They ruined a very important relationship in my life, and it's one of the biggest regrets I've ever had. And I can tell you now, you don't want to get to that point. Okay, you don't want to get to that point, because nothing is as important as creating that family, that bond, that life that you set out for. Because remember, you set out in a business to create joy, happiness, financial independence, financial freedom for you and the people closest to you. And it is absolutely devastating if that ends up separating.
Yeah.
It's devastating for the sake of your business. So just take it from me. Trust me on this. Please just be mindful of that, okay? So Tom, what do you do to de-stress? Like, what do you do to, to wind down, to just take your head out of the game for a little while and just breathe? You know, let yourself breathe. What do you do?
Paint little toy soldiers.
Play with little toys.
Soldiers.
Toy soldiers. Well,
Yeah,
as in like pew 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 pew, as in like that, or
No, they come in little plastic parts, and then I glue them together, and then I paint them, and then I do that.
wait, hold on. Are we talking about, you know, in the 40-Year-Old Virgin with Steve Carell?
Yeah.
He has all these little, what is it, Warhammer or something?
Yeah, Warhammer. That's what I do.
Okay, so it's actually a real hobby. I thought it was what kids did.
Yeah, and me.
And you, fine, okay. You went
There's
to
a lot- there's a-
didn't you go to a Warhammer convention recently with a load of
I went out
guys?
I went out for a gaming day.
A gaming day?
Yeah, met up some people.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
I'm not
going to judge it.
Can I just say, Henry Cavill does this as well.
Okay, listen.
Cool.
I know I'm winding you up. I know it's a very a very good hobby that a lot of grown men play with. But yeah, okay, cool. So good. Do you enjoy it?
I love it. And
What do you get from it? Come on, what do you get from it?
I just find it relaxing. I
can imagine, because
find it very
it's very small, isn't it? So it's quite intrinsic detail. Like the detail, I imagine, is quite difficult.
It is relaxing because you're just focused on that.
What does Elena think of you and your toys?
It just gives me the look, like
The look of disgust, like,
oh my God,
I'm marrying a man-child.
No, she does support me. She's very supportive about it. But the thing is, like, I used to be, like, even to share that now, I used to be well insecure about that. I used to be, because I got bullied for it, like, you know, one of those kids.
I'm not surprised. Okay.
So then to say about it, but then you just
not condoning bullying, by the way, but
as you get older, you do give less of a fuck. And when COVID came about, obviously, with everyone was back indoors, and they all had these boxes in, and everybody's online doing it. And I saw it again. I was like, oh my God, fuck it.
It is huge, to be honest. I'm winding you up, but it is huge.
I've got shares in them. Gone up.
Have you? Yeah. In Warhammer?
Yeah.
Are they going up?
Yeah.
It's very interesting because by our office is a Warhammer shop just around the corner.
They've just signed an agreement with Amazon Studios as well.
Have they?
Henry Cavill's leading it.
Oh,
so it's
amazing.
growing. It's growing. But I basically realised that when we become adults, we just have more expensive toys. That's all it is.
I agree with that. But it's good that you found your thing that lets you. I can imagine you can just switch off.
Yeah,
like you go into your world and you just switch off. I can imagine, like, listen, I've got guys our age that spend all night playing video games because that's what they do to switch off. And I'm not. Hey, listen, I might laugh, but I'm not here to judge, right? I'm not judging anything. You got to do what you got to do to switch off. And I know grown-ass men that spend all night in a racing simulator with headphones talking to people all around the world playing video games. That's what they do to chill out, and that's what they do to de-stress from business. And they're very successful people.
Yeah.
So you got to do whatever you've got to do in order to do that. So that's good. I know you do a lot of hiking as well.
Yeah, that's because I've just come back from that as well. So it's not just painting toy soldiers. It's the hiking. It's things like being able to get to the gym. It's all those little things that are just able to just switch off.
I will say you've got a really good routine when it comes to like the gym, hiking, and switching off. Like you allocate time in your diary to switch off.
Yeah.
Like you have, and I do know that, and that's really cool. Yeah. I'm not at that point yet, but I do obviously have a lot of downtime that I can do what I want to do. I made a decision last year, end of 2023. I made a decision that I was going to travel, and I was going to say, look, basically, I'm going to start enjoying what I've created and actually benefit from that. And I want to be a well-traveled individual, and I want to explore new areas, and I want to meet new people, and I want to, just create that experience. Doing what I do. And I said to myself at the start of this year, I'm going to travel at least once a month. Once a month, I'm going to get on a plane, I'm going to go somewhere. And actually, you wouldn't be surprised at what's happened since I started doing that, because I done that to get downtime, right? So like I've been on over 30 trips this year, right? So actually, I've been abroad more than once a month, probably twice a month. Been to some beautiful parts of the world. I've been to Rio de Janeiro. I've flown around Christ the Redeemer. I've done lots of different things this year. I've even been to a few techno raves. Like, I'm a 42-year-old raving, right? And is it my scene? Probably not, but I've had a blast going there. I've met some amazing people this year. I've grown my network, all because I started giving myself the time to not be focused entirely on work. And actually, my business has grown because of it. Like, it's insane. Like, when you actually give yourself the time to do what you want to do, your business can grow because you can think clearly. Like, for instance, I've met some people this year who have made me think differently about the business. They've made me think bigger. And it's just, it's meant we've grown the business. For me, like, a couple of things. Downtime for me, I like to play poker. So for me, I play a lot of poker. And the reason why I play poker, it's gambling, fine, whatever. But the reason I play poker is purely because, when I'm at a poker table, I can switch off entirely and not think about business. I can literally just think about the cards. And it's the math, it's the numbers, it's the math, and I don't even think about business. So I can do a tournament for 8 hours and have 8 hours of complete bliss. I don't care if I win or lose. 8 hours of complete bliss.
Yeah, because you can just switch off then, can't you?
Switch off, not even think about it. I might enter a tournament, it costs me $100 or £100 or whatever, and I'll spend, that's £100 for 8 hours a piece. That's a good exchange, in my opinion. Right? If I win money, great. If I lose money, who cares? It's £100 for 8 hours a piece.
It's like when you go karting and you're racing around in your little toy car.
Yeah, so when I go racing around in my toy go-kart,
you're not thinking about, how can I grow the business?
No, I'm not. I've got my helmet on, I've got my race suit on, and I'm driving my little petrol go-kart round the circuit. It's like Mario Kart. No, it's actually really professional. But I'm driving that round the circuit, and I'm not thinking about the business. I'm not thinking about wages. I'm not thinking about James pulling another sickie. I'm not thinking about Adam and his bullshit
is
problems.
Adam's phone going to go off?
Is Adam's phone going to go off during the podcast, or is Adam going to forget to pick me up, or is he going to forget that he has to do something? I'm not worrying about like Ellen having a meltdown. I'm not worried about any of that sort of crap, right? I'm just thinking about, okay, how can I overtake the person in front of me? How can I create the fastest lap? How can I get my cart to go faster? That's all I'm thinking about for 2 or 3 days. And you got to have downtime, right? You got to have downtime. How do you go about planning it? Because I think you should plan it into your diary like you plan a meeting into your diary.
Yeah.
So how do you go about doing it? Because a lot of people struggle with diary management. Especially people that have come from a job into business, they struggle with that aspect because they don't see it as valuable. So number one, how do you go about planning it? And secondly, how can you help people that don't see downtime as valuable become valuable? Because I never used to. I used to see it as, look, I'll do that when I've made money.
Yeah.
But actually what happened was, I got to multiple times where I was in severe depression and also probably close to burnout. And my hobbies saved me.
Yeah,
I would say.
I think you do have to just put it in the diary. I put it in the diary. Like if it's date night or I just want an evening to myself, whatever it is, that goes in the diary. Because ultimately, if it's not, then everything else is going to overtake and it's going to fill it up. I think as well, I want to ask, because a lot of people were thinking this, they'll be watching this, and they'll be going, well, I don't have lots of money at the moment, so I can't go and see Christ the Redeemer. I can't go to Brazil.
Doesn't cost you money to go down the beach. So what do they do? Doesn't cost you money to walk in the forest. Doesn't cost you money to take your kids around the park. Yeah. Doesn't cost you money to turn your goddamn phone off and watch a movie with your kids. Doesn't cost you money to get on a bike. If you haven't got a bike, then go to London, pay £1 and get one of the Boris bikes. It doesn't cost you much money to do all this sort of stuff. Yeah. It doesn't cost you money to get your shoes on, get out into nature and just walk around the block. Doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't cost money.
The example I can give, I was really struggling, classic, burning out, banging my head against brick wall, wasn't getting any results. And then my coach at the time got me to go on holiday for 5 days. I went to the Lake District because then I didn't have much money at the time. Went to the Lake District for 5 days, completely switched off. And it's weird because I came back and I signed up more clients than I'd ever had before.
It's interesting.
And I made more money. I've always remembered that.
It's interesting. It's so interesting because sometimes you can't see the woods for the trees, right? You're so in it, you can't see the problems. Like some of the biggest breakthroughs I've had in my business has been when I've been out karting, or I've been playing poker, or I've been, just chilling. Like sometimes, like this, sometimes I'll just ring you up and say, I ain't coming to the office today. I'm driving to the seaside.
Yep.
And I'll just drive to the nearest coast and I'll sit by the water all day. I'll sit in my car or get out, have fish and chips on the park bench, looking at the water. And that's when I'll have the breakthroughs. That's when I'll have the great big ideas. That's when I'll have the moments of, the problem soon becomes easier. Because I'm not focused on the hustle. I'm not focused on the grind. And also, like, think about it. Think about this right now, right? I don't know what your situation is right now. I don't know who you've got in your life right now. But ask yourself this question. It's a far more important question. Who's not in your life because of how you are? That's a far more important question.
Yeah.
Who's not in your life because of how you've been, conducting yourself, behaving, and how you've been running things right now? And if you've been running things where you're working all hours God sends, you're prioritizing your business over relationships, ask yourself now, who's not in your life that you wish was in your life? Because it's it makes you think. It really does. You really don't want to get to a situation where your business has come first, because you'll end up just being a rich, old, sad, lonely fucker. And it is quite depressing. It really, really is. And I'm telling you that first-hand experience. Like, I really am. And sense the tone. I'm not bullshitting here. I'm not having a laugh. I know I'm very much having a laugh. I'm not. I'm telling you now, listen, you can make a lot of money, but you can lose a lot of people on the way, and you don't want to be that person. Yeah. Like, please don't be that person, because it's very lonely going home to an empty apartment. So just be careful about that.
Yeah. Nobody wants to do business with somebody that's miserable, sad, just down in the dumps all the time. People want to, through business, products and services, they want to better their life, and they want to be hanging around with people that are fun, enjoyable, not being a drain. Yeah, exactly. And if you're so stressed with your business, really question what's serving you and what's not serving you, right? So again, I talked earlier about 2023. I made a big decision in my life that I'm going to start prioritizing me. A huge decision, and it is a big thing. I've always put other people before me. I made a decision that in 2024, I'm going to massively grow the business, which we've done. But I'm also going to focus on me and what I want out of this business. Business on my terms, right? One of the things that I did was I put in the date in the calendar, the time off. Before I put any business, any events, any meetings, blah, 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 I put when I want off and when I want to go kart racing. For instance, 2025, I've already put in the diary for 2025 the weekends that I want to go racing. Yeah. My business then revolves around that, not the other way around. All too often, we squeeze in our downtime, we squeeze in the social life around the business. No. You created a business to build it on your terms. So do that first. Put the fun, put the social, put the excitement, put the joy into the calendar first, and then tailor the business to facilitate that, right? That's really important to understand that. And also get rid of the noise, right? Be effective, right? It's too easy to be ineffective in your business. And one of the things I done at the start of the year was I got rid of the noise. I stopped doing joint ventures with people that, I was only doing it to help them out, and I stopped doing it because I wasn't winning. I had many joint ventures in property where I wasn't making any money. I was lending people money to do deals, never seen any return. I was getting involved in partnerships that never became fruitful for me. So I literally, at the start of the year, said, no, I'm not doing them anymore because it doesn't serve my goal. And also, be careful who you're around. Yeah. Choose who you want to be around and who you don't want to be around. Yeah, if you've got somebody in your life and they're always just dragging you down, and you're in their presence, and you just feel like miserable and upset after. Get them out. Get them out of your life.
Negative assholes. You can't be doing them in your life. It just makes it worse.
Maybe it's family, and it's not as easy just to cut them off like that. But you can still, as somebody said to me, you can still love people at an arm's length.
Yeah.
So just maybe spend less time with them and see them on your terms, and put some boundaries in place.
All right. Okay. So you do hiking. You got your toy soldiers. You spend a lot of time with Elena, going on little weekend trips and things like that. How would you say? What's your work-life balance like?
I think I've got it in a very good place now, and I know rather than balance. Or it's shown to me is rather than balance, go for harmony. And so because you can never get anything exactly balanced, but a bit of harmony is like, okay, when you're at work, when you're at business, you're growing the business. When I'm at home with Elena, I'm at home with Elena. When I'm at a hobby, I'm doing my hobby. And I work it like that. And I think in every week, there's nothing that's like rigid. It's not like Monday to Friday, I do this and this. Saturday, it's not like that. But I just like, I've been away at the start of this week. I'm going away.
You're off to Milan, aren't you?
Yeah, going to Milan as well. But then I also know when I come back from that, that's a time to work because I've had some time off. I've relaxed. Right, let's get back into work mode.
Like another thing that I like to do, and it's like, quite often it's very easy to get so stressed in business because, like, listen, I'm running a 7-figure business. I've got multiple members of staff that all want paying at the end of the month, and they stand there at the end of the month wanting paid, rightly so. I've got expenses, I've got costs, I've got high expenses, I've got properties I'm looking after. I've got a busy, stressful life. I've also I want to have a personal life. I've got children, I've got this, I've got that, I've got everything else. So I'm juggling many, many things, right? One of the things that I really advise you do is delegate what you don't want to do, right? So get rid of it. Like, for instance, I've got an executive assistant. I've got an EA. Many of you know him. His name's Adam. He is literally my right hand. He does everything that I need him to do because he's there to make my life easier, right? Whatever I need him to do, he'll do. If I need him to pick me up from an airport, he'll pick me up from an airport. He's not my gopher. He's not my skivvy. He's not my slave. He is none of that. He is a very valued member of our team where if I need him to do something, whether it be paying some bills, whether it be, passing messages on to the team, he acts like me. So if he speaks, it's like me speaking. And he really helps with that. So when you start your business, you want to very quickly find a way to outsource the simple menial tasks. Maybe it's a VA in the Philippines charging $3 an hour. Maybe it's, bring somebody into your business that can be your personal assistant or whatever. But you want to have somebody that can take care of a lot of the menial, normal, everyday tasks that are just time consuming for you. You want your time to be super effective, like super effective. And therefore you can have more time to do what you want to do on your terms.
What's the next big crazy thing you want to do?
The next big crazy thing I want to do. Okay, well, I'm actually, just last month, I just come back from the Seychelles. So we just had a really nice holiday, sat on the beach for 6 weeks. The next crazy thing, do you know what? Last year I went to the Brazilian Formula One, right? It was a bit of a disaster because it was an absolute like rain fest all weekend. It wasn't the experience that I thought it would be. So this year I want to go to a couple of Formula One races. I want to do VIP, like, in the Ferrari garage, in the McLaren garage, that type of thing. So I want to do that. So that's on the bucket list. There's many things. That's a good question. I want to, over the next couple of years, right? I'm into poker, and there's an event called the World Series of Poker that happens in Vegas every year in July. And it's like we're all the biggest and best known poker players in the world, and a lot of amateurs and a lot of people like me. I'm okay, but I'm nothing special, right? Where we go and we all enter this tournament. There's normally about 10 or 15,000 people enter this tournament, and it's $10,000 to enter. So I want to do that at least once in my life, just to see how I get on. And I want to make it so money's no object. I want to travel. I want to enjoy life. I want to go motor racing. I want to go karting. I want to, it's a good question. I've not really thought about it that deeply, but there's a lot I want to do.
No.
Like I want to just enjoy and just want to enjoy life and not give a fuck about the money. And many of you listening to this are probably in the same boat. And listen, I'm in a very fortunate position. I can kind of do what I want to do, right? I'm not talking about like, you know, I never have to think about money. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm a pretty free rein guy. Like for instance, 2024, I went on like 35 holidays abroad, right? I was traveling constantly. Like I spent a fair chunk. I probably spent more money than most people earn in a year on just travel. Yeah. And I'm not saying that to show off. I'm saying that to say, look, you can create business on your terms if you choose to. And if you don't choose to, then that's on you. And I heard a really good saying the other day, what you choose to accept, you tolerate. Right? So if you don't choose to change it, then you're accepting it. And if you accept it, then you're tolerating it. I chose to live life on my terms. I chose to make more money. I chose to have a business. I chose to, you know, lean into possible failure. I chose to do all these things. I chose to risk everything. I chose to, you know, work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I chose to get mentored. I chose to spend £250,000 on getting private mentors by multi-millionaires and billionaires. I chose all of this stuff to better my life so I can live life on my terms. Every single thing I've done in my life, apart from one thing, I've got no regrets. I've got one regret in my life. I'm not going to go into it, but I've got one regret in my life, and everything else got no regrets. And I really want you to understand that business is what you fucking want it to be. Stop letting your fucking customers tell you what you have to do. Stop letting your customers price you down to the bottom. Go out, create business, create life, and fucking live, right? You could literally be dead this time next year.
Yeah.
Like literally dead. And for what? You know, struggling paying debt, struggling paying bills, who cares, right? Make more money, find a way, create more wealth. Like just do something to do something, right? And stop, you know, I've realized, right? And you've probably seen this stat many times. 99% of what you worry about never materializes. And I've realized that. Like, I don't worry about that much anymore because, you know, I've been in some pretty fucking sticky situations. Guess what? I'm still here. Guess what? I'm still making money. Guess what? People still get paid. You know what? If money's a problem, make more. If you don't know how to make more money, then what do you have to do to learn to make more money? Like, stop complaining about your fucking life if you're not going to do anything about it. Like, seriously. Stop complaining about your fucking life if you're not going to do anything about it. If you want to do something about it, you can create change. If you don't want to do something about it, then stop moaning about it. Like, fucking get over it. And I truly believe you can create life on your terms, but I believe that you should do that in a way where there's balance and harmony. You know, have fun. And I met a woman this year, right? And this woman taught me a few things. Number one, she taught me about just not worrying and just actually living in present times. Like being present. Like if you're with your girlfriend or with your boyfriend, be present. If you're with your hobby, be present. And you've said this earlier. Be present with what you're doing. All too often we're with something or somebody, but we're actually with somebody or something else. You know, you're with your children, but you're focused on business. You're with your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, whatever, right? But your mind's elsewhere. How about, look, at Valiant Education, we focus on three things: becoming more valuable, becoming more visible, becoming more vocal. How about you become more valuable in your relationship? How about you become more vocal in your relationship? How about you become more visible in your relationship? Do you think the relationship would get better?
Yeah.
These three things you can put into every aspect of your life and it will get better. The problem is we're so fucking easily persuaded and easily distracted by noise that actually most of the time we end up fucking things up. Right? And we need to kind of stop that. Yeah. So look, if you take anything away from today's podcast, right? Enjoy your life, be present, have fun, and stop worrying about what you can't control. Right? Because at the end of the day, what is the worst that's going to happen? Yeah?
Like, look, life's for living, and I see people in chase mode. They're going after this goal. They want that, and then they get that goal, and they're like, "Oh my god, I want that, I want that," and they're going for the next thing. But what they actually want is they want to spend more time with the kids. They want to spend more time with the family. They want to have more fun, more joy and laughter in their life. but they keep missing out on it because they think they're only going to get that when they achieve the next goal. But actually, you can have all that stuff now if you're just present. That's the best thing that you can do. Have all that stuff now, and you can still work towards your goals. And all you're doing is, as you earn more money, you're just able to amplify the level of experience that you can have.
We're gonna end on a bit of a statement here, right? In 2018, I went to Uganda on a charity trip, and I met a gentleman there called Charles, and he said, "You may have the watch, but we have the time."
Yeah.
On that bombshell, guys. Hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. If you have, like, follow, and share. Share the biggest takeaway you've got in the comments below. If not, we'll see you next week. My name's Alasdair Cunningham.
My name's Tom Cook. See you soon.